Nolan Cole, joined by Barrett Fleck, who's a hockey official. He won the Most Improved Official Award this past season from Hockey Sask. He's from Bean Fate. And Barrett, thanks for doing this. Why don't we start with the award, just what it means to you to win that?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Yeah, it really means a lot just because I started officiating 7 years ago, and ever since then, I had a dream of going pro. So, being recognized by the province is quite an accomplishment, I feel like, and it really meant a lot to me, and it really struck me off guard. I didn't really know it was coming, but once I got the email saying I was getting it, it felt really good to kind of figure out or kind of hear that my hard work really did pay off, and someone did notice it.
So you got the Most Improved Award. So obviously that's a common award for athletes, as you know. But in terms of being an official, you were the Most Improved Ref. So what types of things do you have to work on? Like kind of, I imagine it's its own skill set, officiating in itself, right?
Yeah, it's lots of people don't think there's as much skill as it comes with it, but skating is a big thing. Skating's you gotta be a better skater than the players, essentially, lots of the time, and getting in the right positions to make sure you see that penalty or that goal, and you're sure that you've seen it, and you can't be making mistakes, especially if you want to get to that higher level. So, yeah, to make sure you're doing the right things in the right spot and see everything clearly.
So let's go back to the beginning, Barrett. What made you get into officiating off the start when you were younger?
One of my uncle's friends, Kyle Hyam, actually asked me one time if I ever thought about officiating, and I was only 8 years old at the time, so I thought it'd be cool, but I didn't think I could. And at that time, Hockey Sask never had a age limit, so I thought I'm gonna register and I'm just gonna do this U7 or U5 hockey, and I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it. And so I went and registered, and soon after that, when I was playing hockey in Bean Fate, they didn't have a team anymore. So I decided to step away from playing hockey and just strictly officiate. And I fell way in love with officiating more than I enjoyed playing. And so, yeah, Kyle got me started, and I loved it ever since.
So how many years total now have you been doing it?
Last year marked the 7th year, so I'll be going into my 8th year.
Right. Hey, obviously, when people think about officiating and reffing sports, I think a lot of people think it's like a thankless job and there's a lot of pressure and it's not easy, as you know, right? So can you maybe talk about what are some of the hardest parts about being a good official?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard because you have to make a call against a team, but nobody else maybe seen that call, or they've been the ones getting penalties all game, and those fans or coaches are going to start getting angry, and dealing with conflict isn't easy, but once you do it enough, it becomes easier. But yeah, you just got to treat disrespect with respect, I guess, and go with it.
And obviously, some sports have dealt with abuse of officials, obviously including hockey at all different kinds of levels. What do you think maybe the keys are for the sports community to have more respect and foster maybe a better environment for officials like yourself in the future?
Yeah, I think hockey, everyone, parents and coaches and players are so passionate about hockey, especially in the province we live in, and the city of Estevan is so passionate about hockey. So emotions run high, but I think people need to remember that everyone is human and everyone makes mistakes, even the officials, even though it, we'd rather officials not make mistakes, but it's going to happen. Just like the players out there make mistakes, the coaches make mistakes, but people only realize when the officials make mistakes. So we kind of have to realize that everyone's going to make a mistake, and we got to live with it and move on.
Well said. How about advice for maybe young people who want to get into it, or maybe young officials that are just starting out based on your experience? What would you kind of say to those people?
I'd say do it, and do it to the best of your ability, because it's a lot of fun. You make a lot of new friends. And the first word of advice I was given when I started was work hard every game, because you never know who's going to be in the stands. So no matter what you're doing, if you're doing a U7 game, U11, maybe even a U15 game, work hard, because you never know who's in the stands, and anyone could be watching you. And that game that you do could mean a lot, and you could make you be noticed in a lot of different ways. So just try hard every day, and you're going to make a lot of new friends, and it's a really great thing to do.
Barrett Fleck is our guest on Discover Estevan 1v1. Couple more for you, Barrett. As a hockey broadcaster, I've thought about this. The idea that there's makeup calls or evening up calls, so to speak, where at the end of the game, there's kind of an even split between the penalties. Does that happen, or is that just something people make up? I mean, is that part of kind of the dynamic at play over the course of a hockey game?
Yeah, I know lots of people in a close tie game going into the last minute of the third period. This game could go to overtime, and then the penalty gets called on the home team or even the away team. People think maybe that's a makeup call, but I truly don't believe that referees make makeup calls. I think it's just you're so passionate for your team, you might think it's a makeup call, but the referee clearly, hopefully, had a better position than you did to see that call and hopefully made the right call.
What about timing of penalties? I mean, is a penalty all the time, or are certain things let go, like you say, in overtime or at crucial junctures? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
No, no, that's okay. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like in the last 10 minutes of the third period, the whistle kind of gets harder to be blown, and especially in overtime, right? You want to let them play, and if it's a tie hockey game with 10 minutes left, you probably don't want to be making that call unless you have to.
fair enough. What would you say your favorite part is about officiating overall, Barrett?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think the people that I've met and the high game or the games that I've done this year, I recently was welcomed by the Bantam Double A hockey or the U15 Double A hockey league for the first year last year, and that was a lot of fun refereeing those games. And it's fine. It was kind of the first games that I've done where I walked into the rink and the players were wearing suits and I was dressed up. So kind of felt like that year really was a big next step, seeing all those suits and everything. And I don't know, yeah, making friends and yeah, lifelong friends, I think is the biggest thing.
Last question for you. What are your goals in the future for officiating hockey?
Um, I mean, essentially the best thing would be to be in the National Hockey League someday, but if that might not happen, so I guess get to the highest level of hockey I can and maybe in the SJHL or the WHL someday. And yeah, it's kind of just enjoy it and try to get better because getting better is the best. So um, just get better and do higher levels of hockey.
Awesome. Well, best of luck with it. Congrats again on the award, and thanks for joining me today, Barrett.
Thank you.